Truth seekers. All right. Hey, man, I'm excited. We had a great weekend at the meet and greet, and we're going to get a new name for it because we got a whole new thing getting ready to go down with that. Make sure you stick around when I finish what we're going to be talking about tonight, because tonight I'm getting ready to give you something that I've been preparing for months for you. The new where we're going to go with symbolism, the whole ball of wax, the archetypes. We're going to get into tonight. So you're going to learn some things tonight, and you're going to be able to apply a few things tonight. And by the end of this show, you're going to know why symbols and symbolism is really one of the most important aspects that you want to learn. But like I say, stick around. I got a few clips from this weekend when we did our meet and greet. We had an exciting time. If you missed it, don't worry, because we're going to do another one in September, but it's going to be with another flash this time. Okay, so either way, first thing first, I want to welcome everyone, and looks like Rebecca is back. She said she's had her fourth kid, so y'all give her a shout out right now for having the fourth one. Pretty much, I think I just read that in the chat, but if I was wrong, sorry. But if I'm not, congratulations to you. But anyway, I want you to get your pen and paper out tonight if you want, or really you can just play this video back or this live stream back, because I'm getting ready to go deep tonight and a little presentation style for you. And we're going to get into not only the owl, because I decided to start with the owl itself to give you not only esoteric and exoteric meanings of it, why I even chose it, why we do talk about the luminous, which I'm wearing right under here, right there, and you're going to get it. But you're going to also learn the power of these symbols, and especially the owl, how you can harness it, manifest it, and use it to your advantage and everything else. So I'm really excited for you to be here tonight. This is the premiere of the Symbolizer, and so I'm just going to get right into whatever we need to go. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to give you some backdrop first. I'm going to give you a little information so that you can understand that symbols tie into archetypes, and we all have them, everybody. So you're going to be able to kind of look into your own life and kind of understand it. But when you do, you're going to know that it's embedded in all of us. Okay. Now, where this comes from is Carl Jung. So if you have not read some of his stuff, look up and do some research on this gentleman. He's one of the best. In fact, he is the one when it comes down to this. He's a Swiss psychiatrist, and he was the founder of the analytical psychology. And I've done a lot of reading of his material. I've done a lot of studying, and out of the 22 different symbolism books I've bought recently, and a few books that I've had, it's going to be amazing. But like I say, make sure you stick around afterward to kind of hear the direction that we're going to be going in a lot of other areas. But he's also coined as the key psychology for concepts. He's the one that kind of invented the extrovert, introvert. You know, if you heard that before. Also the shadow archetypes, the animus and anima. We're going to be going into that tonight. The personas, the introvert, like I said, from there. He didn't just study the mind. When he did this, he mapped out like a myth, but he also tied it to dreams. This is really important because we're going to go into that as well as we go deeper into symbolism. Now, one of the things that when he mapped out our unconscious and conscious. So there's 3 levels that I want you to understand, and really 4, but I'm just going to give you the 3. One would be your conscious. This is where you in now. It's where the ego. In fact, this is what Aset talks about, and you'll see a couple of clips later on, the stillness and stilling the ego, quieting the mind. But it's also your immediate awareness. So I want you to just put that to the side. And also, you know, I got my grammar box. Y'all know the drill on that, and the letter box. Okay, so personal unconscious is that second mid-level. Now, this is going to be stuff that you've forgotten about. This is stuff that's repressed, or what I would consider ignored personal material. But it is coming from, sometimes we suppress these things in our mind. Maybe it was some trauma or whatever. Now, the most important thing that you're going to focus on tonight is the collective unconscious, okay? And this is where it gets really deep, because not only it's a deep layer, but this is it inherited, okay? It's the patterns and also This is, and all of these are attached to all the humans. So you're no different. I'm no different when you hear the unconscious or collective unconscious, which is these archetypes. And we all have them, so many of them embedded in us. In fact, it is said that some of this stuff is passed down DNA or everything else. So it's going to be deep. So the psychic is not just a product of the brain alone. It's rooted history, it's myth, it is your dreams and all this. And what he did was he had different, Carl Jung, he had different people from all over the world that didn't even know each other, but in their dreams, they were coming up with the same symbols. This is why people say we're all infinite consciousness and awareness. This is why we're all connected in this other realm, which is probably, and you want to think of it like the internet, how you can go up into the web of the internet and you're able to get a lot of information from the web. You can pull it down. And this is how some people astral project. Okay, we're not getting into all that tonight, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So the archetypes that we're going to be talking about, and also tied into the owl, so you kind of know what this owl would mean to you, why I wear the luminous, and why I chose it for the community. And I get so many, oh, he got the owl, he's this occult. Okay, yes, I'm a occultist, all right? Occultist meaning I study hidden knowledge, okay? That's the only thing occult means, period. But I get a lot of people, they be in there, he's this, and you know what, so what? But I'm going to educate some folks tonight, and hopefully they watch this video, and then they understand the significance of what I do, what we are doing as a community, and where we going as a community, and how it's going to play into the future of lives. Now, the archetypes, when we get into this, is the pattern and symbolic images. Okay, I want you to know it's found in a lot of times it's going to be in myth. So we're going to go through a lot of that over the future, dreams, spiritual traditions across cultures, because it does changes within on the cultures. Now, this is not learned. I want you to understand what I'm about to share with you is not learned. It's inherited. Okay, this is why the Illuminati, all these people tapped into the Monarch program, and that's a whole nother conversation. But they know things that we don't know. But you're getting ready to know it from now on, and you're going to be able to use this knowledge for your own benefits, okay? And whatever you choose to take that superpower, you choose to do it. But anyway, it's through the collective unconscious is what these things, and it appears in some cases as characters. It appears as symbols, motifs in our inner and outer world. Some people say this is where the alien stuff come from, because we are bringing it into our minds. But it also helps shape the personality, the behavior, and the meanings of things. And so we're going to get into that. For example, you have the hero archetype. You have who this is overcomes adversity and all of. You have the shadow. You already hear people talk about, you got to do your shadow work, and they're not lying, people. That is probably, when you're going to find out as we go deeper, the most comprehensive thing that you need to do, all of us, because every last one of us have shadow in us, okay? And I don't care who you are, what you're saying, and if you sit here listening to me and say, Roderick, I don't have it, shame on you, because that means you're not tapped in, you don't understand, and you're probably one of the very ones that we need to all tap into. We all do. And once again, it is part of the archetypes. You have the sage, this is the wisdom seeker. We'll get into the lover and all that kind of stuff too. And we're going to tie it all into the symbolism. Now, there are 4 pillars of the psychic that we want to really know that, and these are the pillars. Now, there's plenty archetypes, okay? But the shadow is your dark side. Everybody got a dark side. It represented traits. It's denied emotions. It's a lot of stuff. It appears in your projections. It appears in your dreams. This is why people sometimes say, well, man, I had a nightmare. That's your shadow. Part of that, the shadow is coming through, and sometimes we do that. Now, the most scariest part of this, usually some of the things that people hate about other people, that they don't like about other people, is really their shadow, and they don't want to admit it, that it's in themselves, but they can highly recognize it, right? So you want to make sure that you get to that. And all symbols that we're going to be talking about in the future, and please, people, I've done this for quite some time, for months. Everybody who knows me personally know that I lose sleep at night trying to make sure, do I want to go into this for this audience? But I do know Symbolism is the most important human aspect all across the board, period. And those who don't know and can't see and unsee those things are not reading the life, okay? And life is really sending us messages from nature, the symbolism of whether it's a tree, a frog, or something in front. It's all out there. And so we're going to get into that because it's a change. The other significant part is the anima and animus. Now, I'm going to tie that into our presentation tonight, or information that you're going to get. But this is also important because I want you to understand this and don't take offense to what I'm saying. The anima is the feminine within the man. So they kind of just the opposite. The animus is the masculine within a woman. Now, Thursday in our private session, I'm going to go deep into that because I don't want to do it here. It's going to offend some people, but this is why certain people have too much of what energy and what, or it comes out in relationships or different things. But it's all, once you understand it, you can know the power of it and turn it and everything else. It's in every last one of us. I have feminine energy in me. And you have feminine energy in you as men. I'm talking to the men, and then women have masculine energy. Sometimes, we live in one other than the other. It just kind of goes through there. The other part is the persona. I know a lot about this because when we develop our YouTube channels, people sometimes tend to tell people or, personalities to develop a certain type of persona. And this is something that you'll get a lot of celebrities and stuff do, radio host or whatever, and they're not like that at home, but they're like this on the air. So they may be the angry man, they may be the whatever, the war, in all these personas. But we as people in life have personas. You have a persona, and we change this every time we need to adapt to something, someone, some situations. And so, again, I don't talk a lot about this in the past, but I am now. And it's stuff that, again, is the future of what needs to be happening, especially in media, all of these things that they're doing to us. And I'm like, okay, enough is enough, right? So, and the most important is the self. This is what a set has been, even though I'm familiar with it, has been really instilling in the stillness that she's been doing with me. And you're going to see a video clip that she's doing this past Saturday, because the self is the objective, okay? It's the total integrated psychic, right? When you think about it, it's the goal of individuation. It is what you want, is to unite all parts of the self. And so that's very important when we do that. So these are forces behind what I call the mask. And also the journey is about integration and not perfection. Okay. So just understand that. And one other thing here is the symbols. All right. The symbolic path to wholeness. When you get down to this, individuation is the process, right? It's the process by where you become the individual that you're meant to be, not self-improvement. Okay. It's self-realization. Oftentimes we take so many self-improvement courses and we wonder why once you're away from the meeting or now you're away from the motivational thing, you're back to square one, because it is about self-realization, not motivation. But they make a lot of money doing that because they motivate you that weekend. You come out of their hype, you think you're on top of the world, but then if you fail to do your shadow work, then all of a sudden it takes over and it comes back, and then you wake up a month later, weeks later, and like, damn, I'm still in the same place and same position or whatever. But integrate, it's about integration, okay? So you want to integrate your conscious plus your unconscious. You want to do your light plus your shadow. This is why I always say, I'm primal light, I'm primal light. And also you want to integrate the masculine and feminine energy that we all have once you do that. But once again, it has its triggers. Okay, so I'm about to go deep, so just get ready. I got some slides that I'm going to bring up in here and for you, and pretty much. So it's all triggered by your dreams. It's triggered by crisis. It's triggered by symbols, spiritual experiences, and things like that. And also, it's about how people are standing, I think, at the crossroad between symbolic crossroads and the threshold of the truth, right? And so we have to do this. So again, the psychic is the backdrop behind all symbols. This is why I filed the trademark as the Symbolizer last year. When I went up there and I told you about the experience that I had, some of you heard me say it, that was one of the callings. That was one of the soul contracts or something she mentioned, which I now know is a lot different in life. Okay. But at that time, and it was all about symbols and symbolic stuff. And I took it to heart and said, okay, let's go. And when I went deeper, I realized that is what the world is. This is why they're able to do what they're doing. And when we go over what we're going tonight, you're going to see how they use this symbols to tap into your unconscious, and you can't do nothing about it. I don't care what you think. None of us can do anything about symbols penetrating the unconscious, the collective unconscious, because that's how it's designed, and it's how we're designed. It was before communications. It was before man picked up the first dinosaur bone and caught the first chicken and said, let's fry that booger, or whatever, or you can go chicken before the egg, or either or. But before we get into where we're going, this is going to set the tone. I want you to understand that why symbols speak to our psychic, okay? Symbols are the language of the unconscious. Check it out for yourself. Go look for it. It bypasses the rational mind. This is why the music industry uses frequencies and all. They don't need permission when they send high frequencies and things between your mind, your conscious mind. This is why I do. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Now you're going to know why I came up with that, or, use that, so to speak. It's been out there in different form of fashion, so to speak, but you're going to know why I stamp on that, because it is so important. When I discover it ain't got nothing to do with what we see. And so many people run around right now operating on, I got to see it to believe it. Oh, really? We got you. This is why magicians can do what they do in front of you, because you got to see it to believe it. And once you believe that he ain't doing nothing but magic, then you don't laugh. It's like it ain't that funny no more. But anyway, they also activate the archetypes, guide the transformation, and hidden truths. And so again, Carl Jung says the symbol is the best possible expression for something we cannot know. Now, let me get started. And where I'm getting ready to go with this is that understand that symbols are not erudition. They're not assigned to an individual. People can make their own symbols and sigils. We will be getting into that. That's how I've done my protection one and give it to you all when we use it, because I knew what we were up against. Symbols is the language of everything, all across the board. But symbols have the power to be used by anyone for any interpretation and meaning that they want, and use the power of it. This is why the swastika, if I pronounce that correct, I got a grammar box, was before Hitler turned it. It was in Japanese or one or the other. It was for good luck. He said, okay, I need good luck taking over the world. So he took it, branded it. And because that's the only thing people resonate with it or put it to, they think it's an evil thing. No, he took it and used it just like you can do anything else. And so I'm going to start with, I thought maybe the next one we're going to do with the sun, we'll do the moon, I'm going to give you now symbols, okay, and symbolism, but I'm going to tie it into our real world and conspiracy of what we do, so that it doesn't take us off the mark. It just educates us. So if you're ready for what I'm about to go into, I'm going to put some stuff on the screen for you. Put a 1 in the chat if you down with this conversation tonight. If you down with the Symbolizer, the Vigilante of Truth, just like Denzel Washington is the Vigilante of Justice, we are going to get with it and everything else. All right, we got some ones, and we're going to get down with this right now. So like I said, I decided, because I do wear the owl, I do represent it as our luminous. It is our organization, our community, because it's the seen and unseen. I've thought it to be befitting to educate our community so that what it represents, what we're doing. And then maybe a lot of you will say, okay, now let me get my luminous, because this dude done activated something that we're about to go. So we got some ones. I'm ready. You ready? All right. So I'm going to put some stuff on the screen. And then after we get through, you got to see the stuff that we did this past weekend. Okay. You got to see it. So make sure you stick around, and then also hear what we're going to be doing from there on. All right. So let me put my stuff on the screen. All right. So once again, we're going to start with the owl. Okay. I put this together very meticulously, show you some things that you never seen before that I don't normally do for you, but the skills is there. The brother got the skills. So I'm going to give you some stuff so that you know why you're going to be in this community, and know if you did not, now is going to be the time to renew and get your memberships back in the Patreon, because we're going to also do some stuff already. All right, so the symbolizer, we're going to present the owl. Now, the owl is the messenger between worlds. So make sure you understand that statement. It's the messenger between worlds. Why I say that? Well, let's get right into it. Right now, I'm going to give you the exoteric meaning of the owl, what they want you to think about, how they've used it in commercial and right now. The owl, and this is what they told you it means, the owl is widely seen as a symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and learning. Okay, so from childhood academic logos, it's the creatures of intelligent intellect, insight, and observant and wiles. You've seen it. You've seen it at the Temple of Athena. They talk about the queen there, the owl emoji. You see it all the time in different places. You remember the thing, how many licks to get to the Tootsie Roll or whatever. All right, yeah. So that there, even in academia, when you think about the Rice University, they use the owl. You see the Hogwarts owl. This is in Harry Potter, representing magical intelligence and the messenger. So this is the exoteric meaning. This is what they want you to pretty much think it is. But all of the occults, all of the Illuminati, the people in power, the people who understand it, they use something else and they do it a different way. So they come back. Now here is part of the esoteric. And look at some of the pictures and things. This is a deeper hidden meaning. The owl is a symbol of occult knowledge. And you got to remember, the word occult simply means hidden. So when you hear somebody say, oh, he's part of an occult, whatever. There's a difference between cults and occult, okay? And if they don't pronounce it right, you're going to misunderstand it. The word occult meaning hidden. So most of us are occultists because we go after hidden information. Now, lunar mystery and the ability to see in the dark. That is very important metaphorically when you start thinking about the owl itself, and then both literal and spiritual. It is also the guardian of the liminal, the psychosop between the world of the living and the dead, and the more than wisdom, the owl represent forbidden knowledge. Right there, I should have you at hello. Right there, I should have you where we're going to be going forward to why you are part, why you are here. Nothing just happens. If you're here, you're supposed to be here and being part of this community, because what I'm doing now is something that's been embedded in me for quite some time. And I'm activated. Okay, I just want you to know we're going down the road. And also, it's about intuition and the capacity to pierce the illusion. Everything is an illusion. They have us in this illusion. It's a strange place. It really is a strange place. But anyway, in many esoteric traditions, it signals initiation to hidden truth and often the cost of sight. And remember, I did a video about that. Once it comes, and when I say cost of sight, because you got to remember, once you see it, you can't unsee. So the cost of sight metaphorically is that you don't see, or some people use the word awake, right? Or whatever. You don't see like you do in the past or whatever. So you see some representation here, the shamanic drawing over there to the right, the owl, the sleeping person in between that, and the Lilith with owls is from Mesopotamia. Remember, they talked about linking the owl with night spirits and the phenomenon shadow. This is why on my symbol I have the water sign, but also the down triangle, which is the feminine side. I had to activate my feminine side and get into there to be a softer man, to be a better understanding and comprehensive man, or caring, and not just apathy, but empathy, right? I had to take myself through that part of the shadow work, not being so freaking hard all the time, not to put myself in somebody, walk in somebody's shoes of trouble, but also just put myself in their shoes so I can have a little not apathy, but empathy, right? And so apathy is what we be accused of, right? So the owl is not a confronting professor, but it's a nocturnal and it's sentinel, and it sees what others cannot see. or they're not. And it's the silence between the appearances. Now, this is where the symbols become dangerous and sacred, or both. What I'm about to get into now is where it becomes dangerous. All right. And but yet we're going down this thing. And once again, this is why I use it for us as our symbol as luminous. All right. So let's talk about the archetype activation. I kind of gave you a little bit of it in a minute, and then I'm going to tie several different archetypes. You can then tie some of these you're going to recognize within yourself. But remember, all of us have all of these things, but just sometimes we're lying. But the symbol of the psychic key that you see there, they use this because it means that the owl unlocks hidden knowledge. It is something. And by the time of this, you're going to understand why we use it. And like I said, it's what we're doing. Now, the owl acts as the archetypal key, like I said, unlocking inner capacity to see beyond the illusion. This is the whole point of truth versus authority. This is why I changed everything from Why the Big Secret, talking about aliens, because I was like, whoa. This is deep. They're not playing with us, right? They're not playing. They're controlling. But what if we can learn that knowledge? And what if we can use the knowledge to get ahead, to do, you just got to do the right things with it, because everybody has this program and they're tapping into our unconscious. You can tap into unconscious and begin the process of doing that. But anyway, we now recognize right now for a second, the owl is not a passive symbol, but it's a living archetype, right? It's called totems, and we're going to go through that. Everybody got an animal totem, right? And maybe the dog, the cat, the bird, or whatever. I've been studying those things and getting out doing videos about it. So anyway, we're going to get into that someday too. But anyway, it's a psychic operator, and it also activates the movement. Now, any moment, I should say. But the owl has entered your internal myth. All right. So here's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to go into several archetypes one by one, how the owl ties into them. All of you have different these archetypes. Some of you are this way on the top end, but it all goes into the unconscious. The first on the list is the sage, okay? And remember all of this. Pay attention to where I'm going with this, because this is going to also let you recognize people that you're involved with, people that, and these are things that are in the unconscious. I just want you to know it's programmed. This is programming. So the better you understand this, you won't be feeling all crazy about, and when you understand people, yourself, the shadow, all of these things, and begin to understand it. So one of the owl archetypes, and I'm connecting it to the owl, is the sage. The sage is the seeker of wisdom, the insight, the guide, the teacher, the knower of deep truth. And the symbolic connection of this to the owl is that the sage is silent flight, penetrating gaze, its nocturnal nature to reflect the archetype's detachment from mundane and deep vision into mysteries. Now, back in ancient Greece, the owl of Athena, remember I showed you that picture earlier, symbolized rational wisdom and spiritual knowing in what they call an equal measure. Now, here's the dreaded side of this, and I'm going to give you the shadow of all of these archetypes, which is some of all of us, okay? And I could be talking directly to you when I get to it. So just sit in your seat. I got a bunch more archetypes coming for you. The owl watchfulness and also can turn into detached superiority, okay? Dogma, the paralyzing through overthinker. Now, let me focus on detached superiority. Remember I told y'all how I started getting into this deeper thing, and I started saying how and I started saying that the awake community was probably one of the most prejudiced communities that I can ever, and it ain't got nothing to do with color. It's something about when they're awake, when this owl shadow begins to emerge, they think they know, they begin to have thinking you're superior over everyone else. That is not where we're supposed to be. This is the whole point of that apathy and all that stuff kicks in, and you ran into it a lot. You get people, oh man, they ain't woke. You hear it all the time. I just be like, man, don't do it. That's not that's not the goal. Reach down and pull somebody up, or when the teacher is ready, the student would appear. But oftentimes people can't get past that. And it's a problem when it's happened within our community. Dogmatism, like I said, and the sage becomes the observer who never acts. This is why I make sure that I keep telling y'all, I say, listen, if you are a truth seeker, it's time for you to become a truth speaker, because the owl in you that shadow owl won't let you act. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that got knowledge. I don't want to be out here. I don't want nobody to see me. And I'll be like, because I know what's happening, or the archetype. I know the unconscious is what's not functioning, but you can't tell them that, right? Because they're your friends. They're not going to hear that. But that is the truth. That's the shadow of the owl staying hidden, and they can't balance it together to become a true speaker. Okay. And I'm talking the true speaker is visible, right? We're not unseen. I'm not hiding from anybody, right? I'm not trying to. But you got a lot of people who teach you things and they don't want to be seen themselves, but then they want you to take that knowledge, and that they don't want to be seen because they know the danger of it. So why put people in that position, right? So it's something that you have to understand. And so I'm very stickler about that. That's why when I used to help people come on our show, I would you got to show your face. And people didn't know what I was really doing, but I wanted to get people to come out from under that owl shadow, because if they don't show themselves, who the hell are going? Why would I allow them to talk to the audience or instill something in you? So stay hidden. You can do that if that's your choice. The world needs you to come forward, is all I'm saying. The next one is the anima. Remember I told you the anima is the inner feminine within the man, and then the animus is in the female. That's why the picture you see, that man is sitting in that picture, and he is looking at the feminine out there. That's him looking at the feminine within himself. Every man have it. Some is a little more than others or whatever. But a lot of you are in relationships with men who don't tap into it. This is why they're so freaking aggressive, or in the same thing with feminine. We'll get into that. And that'll be an internal lesson on Thursday. But either which way, the inner feminine is the emotional intelligence. It's the intuition. It's the receptive, nurturing mystery. And so men, brothers, our ladies have it, y'all. Our ladies have that intuition. If you can find that balance and listen, and you get the right woman and you can listen to her intuition, that gift that she have, it's like driving in that car. And at the stoplight, you can't see to your right. You know that, right? But if you're able to look at her and say, do we got it? And she look over and say, I got it, baby, because y'all working together and trust, then you can turn. You want that type of trust when you can have it. She's like a GPS. When we get off, you know how we get to GPS and you driving, but you make the wrong turn, and then that booger you look at the screen, it starts recalculating. That's the woman you need. You don't need her complaining about you making a wrong turn in life, man. You don't need her telling you, oh, you did it all wrong. You need her to go back to the drawing board and recalculate your destiny. And she comes back and say, okay, baby, if you're going to go this route, this is the route you need to go. And you got to trust that. Anyway, I'm just talking. See, I don't get into a lot of this, but I'm going to go with it tonight. Okay. So, but either way, you got to understand that this is one of those things that we have to understand. And don't worry about it. I'll get to the women in just the next. So I'm not going after my brothers. But anyway, the symbolic connection of this is that as a nocturnal creature, the owl is deeply aligned with lunar energy. This is the moon stuff. This is why you got that moon goddess and all. We're going to get into all of that later on because we're into symbolism now. I just want you to know. So we're going to get into it as we come down the fence as we go. All right. So anyway, the mysteries of the feminine unconsciousness. Okay. So once again, the anima is the feminine in men. If men are not tapping into the feminine, they're disconnected from that feminine power. But again, I done it on purpose. This is why if you go back and you see our protection symbol, let me just stick it up here on the screen and you're going to see it in real time. I think I can do it real quick. Hang on. All right. So in the right corner, I want you to look up. You see the logo, right? Over there in the right corner, to the right, you see the triangle is upside down. It's blue. People, I did all this strategically. They're in my grammar box. But because I needed us who's wearing it to activate the feminine side, because we have to. That's why they use it in the yield sign on the streets. They need you to become that feminine intuition and other stuff to let people off the highway. Otherwise, road rage, we're going to have a wreck. They already been doing these symbols. They've been knowing what they're doing anyway. So anyway, there's a problem though. When we get, after it gets associated with the goddess like Athena, wisdom, Lilith, the shadow female, linking to both nurturing and feminine archetypes. Okay. Yeah, there's a sexy side to that feminine side. There is we want that, right, man, or whatever, but you have to have it in you too, man. And it's what I'm saying. So either way, here's the problem when it becomes the shadow expression: emotional manipulation, seduction through secrecy, fear of being seen fully. That's why a lot of men are not transparent. Women don't seem to understand that, but you're going to get that tonight. This is why your man don't talk. He doesn't have the feminine anima activated within him because he's tightened up or whatever. I can't tell you, we're not getting how you bring that out. It's just going to have to be trust. Trust is the only biggest thing. But this is why some of them are so hard. And let me get into a deeper reason why they're so hard as we move forward is because let's just say that man was raised by a woman who beat him. Okay, let me just put it there for a second. Let's say he was raised by a woman who beat him or wasn't a good representation. The mother was with a bunch of guys or whatever. Either two ways he's going to learn this in the uncut, collected, unconscious archetype. That archetype on the shadow side, he's going to start seeing women. He's going to be abusive. He's going to be manipulative, narcissist, or whatever y'all want to call it at this point. This is where the trueness come in at. He's not going to respect, and he's going to see women because of that uncollective conscious experience that was not only in the DNA, because you got to remember who she is was passed into him. It ain't what he saw. She activated it by treating him according to the DNA that was in him, you know? And so this is a problem. And again, that's not me. I'm not a psychiatrist. We're not going to go too deeper into that. All right. So the other part is the animus. This is the masculine energy within women. Okay. And I'm going to tie it into the owl and why the owl is so important for you to use this to activate these things so that you come forward to understand where we're going. All right. So the inner masculine and the rational force, direction, strength, and structure and clarity. The owl also carries animus energy through penetrating vision, stillness, and it's the silent protector. It's the sentinel. It's why feminine is mystery, unlynching, focus, and aerial dominance, and everything else. And so, once again, this is within men, within women, and there's no wrong with where I'm going with this. Both sides is good. Make no mistake about where I'm going with this, right? Because it doesn't matter, and I'm not saying if you have more masculine energy or feminine energy, nothing is wrong. It's just that when it's time for you to tap in and balance, because there's women, I met a lot of women and know some now that have more masculine energy, but they're cool people. They're great people. They're great lovers. It's probably why they make the best of the lovers too, because they understand both sides of the fence, and we don't, men don't, right? So it's like, it's the benefit of all. So if we can combine both worlds equally, then everybody become that oneness of greatness, right? And self-realization, and you're able to adapt to situations. So none of it's better than the other. It's just you just got to learn to balance it which one is it. You just got to balance it. So that's why I don't worry about my friends that or not what everybody say. Oh man, this guy he acts like a woman, so he's still my boy. He's cool. He ain't pushing up on me, and we don't. But he may have his choices, but that's cool. But that don't mean that we get into a fight. That dude ain't behind me saying, "Hey, move back, Rod. I got this," right? Because that masculine energy steps in too. So it is what I'm saying that is important and significant that we have them both. So that's all I want you to understand when we go there. But anyway, the shadow side of this is the vigilant and the cold attachment, the mental domination. The owl becomes all-seeing that judges rather than understands. This is what I'm saying when that masculine energy in a woman becomes too high. It now becomes a little more judgmental. It becomes, and another personal note is picture a woman that was raised by her father, okay? Her father was her hero, and he paid all the bills. And I see people say, I need a man to pay all the bills. And especially in the day of life when everything is so freaking high, where you got to have two jobs for two people. So, but she this is her unconscious. Remember, the collective unconscious dream. Remember, because it comes from the dream state of her dreaming the knight in shining armor and how this should be. However, when it's operating in the shadow, she still wants that knight in shining armor and tend to be that woman that, you know, that take care of the man all the time, that y'all be like, man, she paying for this dude, she buying this car, he's driving to this, and all her friends be saying, why are you doing this for this dude? He ain't doing that. Because she's operating in that animus of that masculine of being the hero, and she now switched the altar. She is that hero, and she's acting that out by being that, right? Instead of saying, whoa, let me balance it. It is, he needs to be doing that, right? Or whatever. So it happens like that. And it also happens if you get someone that says, hey, I was raised by all of my brothers, cousins, or whatever, and they're going to know. But when you meet, because I meet people who understands that, right? And so you can tend to understand what I'm saying if they also saw men and was raised by men that was dogging a bunch of women and saw that all they wanted women was for sex and all of this stuff, then it's going to trigger that animus in the shadow of them thinking all men is that way and all men is going to treat that way whenever those triggers and signs come up, when it may not be. So all I'm saying, just understand that, and I'm only going lightly on that. We're going to go deeper in our Patreon because we can talk off air and everything else. All right, so the next one we're going to move to, and remember the animus, and animus is the foundation archetypes. Now we got the trickster. This is going to remind you, a lot of people that you know, we all got it in us. We all play that every now and then. It's the bringer of destruction, chaos, insight through inversion. It breaks patterns and reveals obscurity. Now, when you connect this to the connection to the owl through the not traditionally the trickster, the owl plays a disruptor of illusion. Okay, in myth and folklore, it appears just before a major change in revelation. It also signifies the presence of something hidden, the truth is disguised as fear, and so the trickster, it gets activated in a lot of people, and a lot of people have this in them. This is where, again, that the shadow becomes that we have to work on these things. Now, the owl as a trickster can become the symbol of paranormal, appearing as omen, misinterpreted or misunderstood, triggering irrational suspicion, the fear of unknown. This is what's happening when I meet people when I wear the owl. They be like, damn, you know, what is going on? Why you got the owl? And you must be, you know, the Masons, or you must be out, because they know no better. But that unconscious shadow of the meaning of the owl symbol is now functioning the wrong way, and they can't see it for what it is, that we're looking into the unseen. And sometimes I used to try to explain it, but I don't anymore. I'll be like, yeah, you know, the teacher's ready, someone else will appear. So you have to understand that the trickster happens. And so that picture that you see all the tricks and things, and you get a lot of people, and it can go deeper as archetypes when you start meeting people in life that are doing things out there. So just understand that that happens a lot, and believe me, it happens a lot. Okay. All right. So the next one is, this one is the worst of them all. Okay. This is the shadow. This is the repressed, the hidden, the fear parts of the self, the unconscious instinctive drives. This is what we all got to work on. This is the thing, and symbols tap into this. This is what the occults use to get you to do crazy stuff. They use the unconscious and tap into your shadow, and your shadow takes over. Now in the spirit world, they say spirit. Now, if we want to talk about the symbolic connection to the owl is the eyes that sees in the dark. People, that's why I chose it. So I can recognize these demonic shit. So I can recognize what other people are trying to do, put spells on me and all this kind of, I get it all the time. I used to go to UFO meetings, and they'll walk up, oh, I just want to touch your beard. I knew they was trying to read me. I knew some people be trying to cast spells. And I've had people to call and say, you know what, I've been trying to tap into your acoustic record, but I can't. Yeah, because it's blocked. I already know it exists. My people keep it blocked. You can't do that. You know, it's not you're not getting my permission, but they can do it unconsciously, though. This is something that they can do when they do this. But anyway, this makes the guide through the shadow. It doesn't avoid darkness. It thrives there. So I want you to know that. Hence, it becomes a cycle pump and also a guide through inner shadow realms. Now, it's already negative, but when that bad boy becomes really dark, it over identification with the darkness, the owl becomes a symbol of voyeurism into pain, fixation to hidden truth without integration. Now, this is where it gets to be a problem. Some of us are operating in the shadow with the owl, so to speak. Some of us are digging for the truth so much that it becomes so fierce to them, when you should be coming to a point saying, wow, the more I know, I didn't know, right? But it does cause people to become so not introverted, but it's, you know, you've heard people that never go outside again. They're too far gone, right? They ain't never been outside in 7 years and all that, because that shadow has become so embedded that they can't do it. And it's uncommon. But go back to the parents or go back to somewhere else. This stuff was genetically, and it happens a long way. So again, it's an inherent thing when we go there. Now, here's one of the good ones that a lot of us that we go into. We're talking about the hero, the role of this hero. And when you think about it, the one who confronts adversity, the quest for the truth, the protectors, you know, I kind of live part of this a little bit in archetypes, and, you know, but also, you know, I'll go deeper, you'll see in a minute. But the other part of this, that the symbolic connection to the owl, is that the owl doesn't outwardly resemble the classic hero. All right. That's why you don't see me putting on my Superman cape, you know, but it's stillness, it's strategy, it's precision. This is where you see when I do a lot of the content. I always ask a lot of questions on purpose. Why this? Why that? Maybe this. And people get kind of confused, like, well, what side you on? No, I'm trying to give you the objectivity so that you can get in here and see whatever, and then awaken your possibility to the curiosity of what we're talking about, right? But also, there's in the hero, there is a shadow expression. Now, we're going to tie all of this as we go forward. And this is the foundation of symbols, because you got to remember the symbols activate this. So when we start going over all different symbols in life, stuff that you see, logos, how they use the logos to tap into your archetype to drive you to make decisions. It's incredible, people. But what if you knew that knowledge? What if you can now use that for your businesses and everything else? All right. So the shadow is heroic arrogance, believing that one's knowledge, the owls, justify dominance and judgment. The hero with the owl may become aloof, overconfident, believing they see all. This is that arrogance I was talking about in our community. Once that part shifts in, especially with the owl totem or the owl, I'm using that as part of that archetype. Then these people become, I know what you don't know. I know more than you. They're arrogant. They figure they can walk out there, and all it takes is game, no game. You already know that, right? It's no different in you know, having intimacy with somebody. You meet a man of a woman who has a you know, high school, you know, education in sex. Then you got a woman that has you know, or whatever, I don't know, a bachelor, you know, associate in sex, then a bachelor, then somebody got a doctorate, then a master degree, then you be that, and then you end up meeting those goddesses that got, you know, it's like it just levels. So when you think you know it all and you only got a associate in sex, and then you meet somebody else, yeah, right, okay. So the whole point, I don't even know why I said that. Good Lord, I'm gonna just take that back, because I don't even know why I use that analogy. But it may have been just a bad one, but I think it works. But the whole point I'm trying to say is, when people think that they know more than somebody else, the shadow steps in and it becomes an issue. And so those are things that I will say. So anyway, but they do become aloof. They do become setting themselves to the side. They do become, they don't want to be seen. They do all of this stuff. And yet they are now subject to the knowledge and everything else, and it becomes pretty bad. You know, it really does. All right, so let me continue. The magician, this is really good. This is the transformer, the alchemist, the master of insight and hidden laws. All right, this is the owl connection magician familiar. It sees beyond the veils. It signals transformation, bridges dimension. It perches in ritual spaces. It presents during moments of awakening or interchange. Sometime I become that part of archetype. I become that to reach and connect with people or scenarios or things so that you can make it win-win and work. You have to work your magic, right? This is where you hear that term, work the magic, or whatever, because that archetype began to give you to better understand that. Now, once again, there is always the shadow of it, the illusion, the deception of power masking as wisdom. That is crazy. Some people think they know something, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that is crazy as all get out when it comes to that. But the owl becomes the prop of the manipulator, is used to feign depth without insight. Then some people begin to manipulate people, be thinking they know what they're doing. And you got to be careful in a relationship with this particular archetype, because they think they know what they know, and then they try to get you to think how they think. And then they begin the process of trying to manipulate you when two ways. If you're not going to follow suit, or they're going to try to be manipulative, and it's not narcissist. This is manipulation, right, to its fullest, because they think that you don't know, you're gullible, you're whatever, instead of operating in the other parts and showing you. So this is really one of those things. And we also get into that when we are in a relationship with a significant other, and you can hear this. And when two people is not communicating, I got my certification in the love languages years ago. I didn't ever tell y'all that. There are 7 different love languages I got my certification in, and I can teach all 7, and I try to operate and do that. But that's another part of me that you don't know. But the other part of this is important that's why I tend to try to listen the best I can. You're going to get 2 people talking about a refrigerator, the woman, the man. I'm just using it for example. She says that she feels like she needs a new refrigerator. He thinks that we need a new refrigerator. They're both saying, let's get a new refrigerator. I feel like we need one. I think like we need one. And you think you're going to go out and buy a refrigerator. No, it's going to be a problem, because once you get out there looking at the refrigerator, you thought you was communicating, she's feeling, he's thinking, and yet you think you're talking about the refrigerator. Well, what happens is when she feel like that this is the one that she wants, he thinks that one is too overpriced, or we don't need it. They begin to fight because now they're not communicating when they thought they was, right? And people do this all the time. One's thinking, one's feeling. And when you need to stop and say, all right, sweetie, how did that make you feel when I said what I said, right? And then if she tells you exactly this is what it made her feel, then you shut up, right? You don't go into, I wasn't trying to do that. No, that's not your point. That's the ego. Just listen and say, okay, fine. I hear you. And now you don't do that. And the same thing when she says, okay, let me try to understand where you're coming from and why you think we shouldn't buy it. And then he goes, yeah, now you begin. Anyway, that's another story too. So we're going to keep going, because that's not what we're talking about tonight. But I just want you to know it's all based in their archetypes and everything else. All right. So the other part of this is the lover. Now, they tap into this symbolically. And the only reason I'm doing this tonight, and I will do some of this as we do future, because people need to understand the archetypes and stuff. But the lover is the connector of hearts, the igniter, the passion, the seeker of the union. Now, the symbolic connection of this to the owl is the solitary night creature that invokes longing and mystery of unseen love. It's often linked to soulful connections, dreams, and romanticized unknown, right? And so the Romeo, the Juliet stuff, the things that I learned this long time ago, right? And this is funny, but I learned this long time ago. I learned that, and I haven't done this in a long time. So if anybody out there that I said this to you might know I didn't, but I could have, but I didn't. Because one of the dreams that sometimes women want, not all, is to be married. Okay. And if you ever get out there on the street and you walk up to a woman and you say, hey, marry me, that's the first line you say, she's going to jump back because she's already shocked. She's surprised. What? Marry you? I don't even know you. Then you down it and say, well, just give me your phone number then. and watch what happens. She's going to give you the phone number because but if you ask for the phone number first, nah, I'm not interested or whatever, shock the system. Just walk up and say, hey, will you marry me? And she expected to hear from Prince Charming or whatever, but somebody finally said it, right, so to speak. And she's like, what? No, heck, what? Well, then just give me your phone number. Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm just saying. So but you have to understand that the lover in all of us is there, man, and it's something that we want. It's something that we tend to have to. And same thing for me. I said it many times. I probably gave the keys to me out on the air so many times. I don't think people listen to it if they wanted to date me or something. Right? I don't know. But I'm easy, right? So, but we have to understand that it's in all of us. But it does have a shadow, and it does have a problem. And it does have a problem when it's obsession with mystical love, romantic illusions, or becoming consumed by a fantasy. And we all know it in the world. If your woman is loving Jesus more than she loves you, and when she thinks she's going to make love to Jesus and never will, and she's infatuated with the God and not understanding the human in her man. And we know that, and the vice versa for a man too. Okay. And in the same way, when they have this fixation of this thing that people are, instead of looking internal and understanding who you are, self, right? So it's out there, right? It's one of those things, and pretty much. And I told y'all one time that I would, and I'm just telling a story, woman like I now, I remember I was going through it with, and I said, well, baby, all right. And because she was in this church mode thing. And I said, well, tonight Jesus is going to make love to you tonight. She was like, what? I said, yeah, through me. He's going to make love to you tonight through me. And she was like, really? She was excited. Like, yeah, you're going to feel Jesus tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I had to get creative. It was a whole week, like, damn, this shit got to play out, or whatever. I know it's bad, and now y'all ain't going to like me. All right. So anyway, I'm just telling you, sometimes you got to understand what you're up against. And you got to understand what you're up against. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. So either way, here we go. So the other part of this, I know I'm funny. I'm funny sometimes, though. I'm funny sometimes. I'm funny sometimes. And that may not be funny to some people, but man, you got to do what you got to do. you got to do what you got to do. All right. So, all right. The other part of this, the rebel, man, this is pretty powerful. The rebel, when it comes down to it, the fire, the fire of the system, the breaker of chains, the bringer of the revolution, the owl's nocturnal independence, the ability to see through the deception and align with the rebel and see through the systems of control. The owl don't conform. It exists beyond visible hierarchy. Ladies and gentlemen, why we wear the owl. I activate the rebel all the time. If you went to the website, it's not up now. I'm redoing it, but you will see the shirt says disobey, right? I have hats and stuff that says disobey, don't look at the illusion, watch what you smell, hear, and whatever, or all of the stuff. If you go to the protection shirts are rebel based. And when I used to advertise the commercial, it'll say join the rebel. In fact, let me show you real quick what I'm talking about here. And I started to put this out there to y'all, but I was like, but watch this little commercial. And it's all about me activating the archetype that I am, the rebel for the truth, right here. So right there, you get what I'm saying? So these are things that I put out all the time so that I get our community until they're ready to know the truth, to say, okay, boom, this is what we're doing. And so I was doing it all the time, and I still do. Y'all just don't see a lot of those shirts, but I made them, and it was for the rebellion, because once I figured it out, it is time for us to rebel. We're truth seekers, they're truth speakers, and the owl, the luminous, to see and unseen. So I had already started shaping what we are trying to communicate because of being in it. Now, believe me, why am I saying this? I've been in 11 different TV shows. I've been interviewed by people. I've interviewed 400 people. I've been around some government officials. Go look at, I watched myself on HBO yesterday. Yeah, I'm on HBO. I was looking, click, hey, that's me, in which I knew the name of the show. So I'm in it. And I was a lot bigger too. I was like, boy, you go, boy. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying. It is, you have to understand. Now, when we are operating in the cynical side of the shadow, constant rebellion without cause, or a fixation on seeing through everything, leading to nihilism and all that stuff, this is where it gets a problem, because you can't tell nobody nothing. When they're operating in the shadow, they're suspicious. They are, I've had people that have lost relationships because they're very intuitive. They have the gift, and they start accusing their woman or man of things that they wasn't really doing. See, when that shadow is operating bad, you turn your weapons on your mate, and then you think that you are homing in on something they do. Now, I'm not saying some of you wasn't right. I ain't say that. Sometimes you're just right, okay? We're going to go with that. But there's a lot of cases that some people are wrong. And I was one of them, because she started saying she was seeing some stuff and things. And I'm like, really? And I couldn't tell her, hey, that's about the dumbest thing. Well, had I had these type of clips, that I had, then I would have played the clips and said,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You know what I'm saying? And I would have been like, but you don't do your mate like that, right? You don't do your mate like that. It'd be like, yeah, right, and she'd be like, did you do that last night? I'd be like,
hell no.
But I don't say it like that. I don't say it like that. But the last thing you want to do is just,
now that's a damn lie.
But you can. And if you can play those clips in your mind, though, you can get away with it, okay? So just park some of those clips in your mind like I do. You'd be like, man, that's a damn lie, whatever. Because you just gotta understand it, and do those things, because, man, it's one of the deals.
Hell no.
And then my favorite, and when they say something like, well, you act like you know what you're doing. And you be like,
you damn right, wise ass.
you want to know, yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I mean, I can't curse on my stuff. But anyway, so let me continue. When they're cynical, that rebellion without cause. Now, you got to be careful with that, because I learned this from relationships that, if you got somebody that haven't had a lot of experience in life, and they did something, or maybe they had a bunch of stuff when they was young, then they get with you and everything's, now they want to rebel, man or man. Now they want to go out when they're adults. Now they want to go drinking every night with the fellas when they're grown with responsibilities. Those are a lot of stuff that you run into, the rebellion without cause. So that's something that happens. All right, so this is the most important of all the slides right now. This is the self. This is what you're working toward. This is what Aset talks about. And even the stillness that she did Saturday, it's about the self. It's one of those things that you really got to understand and pretty much go from there. Unity of the psyche. It's the integration of all archetypes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, because we're going to do a lot of this over time. This is the one. So when I go through this again, pay attention to, because this is what you're working for. The whole point of this is the truth realization. Now, the owl, why we have it as our mascot, is the integrating symbol, one of that watches all parts, light and shadow, masculine and feminine, hero and trickster, without judgment. That's why I don't judge a lot of people. I try not to, and you don't have to. It still points to turning the psychic. It's the most important thing. Let me say it again. The owl integrates them all. It integrates the masculine, the feminine, the trickster, the self, the hero. Or it integrates those things so that you are able to balance and tap as needed. And again, it's non-judgment, people. When you can get to a point where you're non-judgmental, And you got to understand how I came up with the saying, I believe you believe. Y'all remember that? I'm writing a whole thing on it. It was the most magical thing that happened when I started interviewing so many people with UFOs, and they were so emotional and they're hurting and nobody's listening to them. Their wives or husbands, men, grown men that will cry, and men that will tear you up, that will, cut you down, saying the wrong thing to their family. But in the dark, because they saw an orb, something they can't mentally fathom or can't tell the woman next to them that I saw a UFO or an alien last night, because she's going to belittle him and she's going to bring him down. It was that's one of the reasons I got real sentimental and emotional when I got into this, and it happened in my own life, right? So you get to a point and go, wait a minute. So I developed the I believe you believe, and you can use it right now. I believe you believe. And the whole point is, if someone tells you something, like they will tell me, Roderick, there's a leprechaun over there. You see the rainbow, and I don't see it. But I ain't, and I ain't gonna lie either. And be like, yeah, shit, look at that rainbow. It's purple, green, and yellow. And they go, no, it's not. Now they caught you. But if you say, honey, or homie, hubby, whatever, I believe you believe there's a leprechaun over there, baby. And for that, because I got your back, let's go. You see what I'm saying? They heard you believe. That's all they needed to hear, because you're going on a journey. So if they get confused, like, did she really believe? Well, she must be, because she's walking with me by my side. He's walking with me by my side. That's how I'm able to go on a journey with everybody in this audience. Whenever somebody tells me something, I believe you believe it. And for that, because I got you, I can go there with you. I don't have to be walking in your shoes, but I can put them on. You get what I'm saying? I can put them on to understand what you're going through. I ain't got to walk through them, walk in them every day, but I can go through it. And that was the magical turn in my life years ago. And I was able to start building my community, and I didn't, and I need to put that out even more, because this is a community that we don't ridicule. We're not doing any of that. Everybody's going to be able to share and do when we open up our phone lines and begin to go back down that route and all of that stuff. You get what I'm saying? That's what you have to understand. You can't see it. And now let me tie it into something real quick. Dreams. Let me tie it into a dream real quick for you. When you are dreaming and you got this dream, two things I want you to do. But the person who listening to somebody else's dream, if you don't see it, if that man or woman come home and she got this idea to turn y'all life around, and maybe she done made all these mistakes, he made all mistakes, so what? Because we learn from those, right? But if he says that, hey, I got this, if you don't see it, you don't know how it's going to work. It wasn't given to you anyway. God didn't put that in your mind anyway. Put it in that person's mind. And when you do get an idea, I want you to know it comes from the universe, the cosmos, because on this level, we pray for solutions. We pray to God for solutions. In order for him to bring it into this realm, he gives it to you as an idea, and then you got to birth that idea to help humanity. And whenever that ideal you do, the bigger it is, the more it helps humanity, you become wealthy. So that's why Amazon is one of the wealthiest people. Whatever ideal he came up with serviced billions. He can't help but by default to be wealthy, right? So if you got a small idea, make them big. Dream like a fool. Dream like a fool. That's what I want to tell you. Dream like a crazy fool. Dream like a fool that I don't give a darn who don't believe. Keep dreaming like a fool. But then if you got somebody with you and he's dreaming like a fool, or she is, just say, I believe you believe that this foolish dream that you got is going to work. I got your back. That's all you got to do. All right. So let me move on. And so the part where I'm going with this is that we have to understand that when you begin this non-judgmental side, you're going to be able to adapt to a whole lot of situations with different personas. Remember, we talked about that earlier. And when you do that, but when they're operating in the shadow of self, ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem. The problem is spiritual bypassing, okay? Using the appearance of wisdom to avoid confronting fractured parts of the self. Fractured parts of the self. This is how they do mind control. They fracture the mind. So don't think that just because you ain't mind control, you ain't got mind issues when you are operating in a shadow of self and you can't understand and compartmentalize anything and blah, 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 because you're fractured. The mind is fractured. You got to find yourself. You're going to do that through stillness. So make sure you stay here to the end, and we'll show you some stuff we're doing Saturdays. Bring in stillness, and you're going to see it in a minute. Okay. Pay attention. Just hang around for that. That's all I want you to do. Hang around and still dream like a fool. That's going to be our motto for the week. Dream like a fool. But the whole point is, when you're not operating in that, they know how to reach us through symbolism. And that's our journey as we're going to go. So hopefully this is more of an archive, but I'll keep tying archetypes into all of the conversation. We have to, because it's just part of the foundation. But anyway, the negative self. Now, that's a whole conversation we need to do in our Patreon. And like I say, for hints and forward. So if you ain't got your memberships, it's time to go ahead and do it, because I'm getting back on track with it. But now this is the direction that we're going to go. So, and if you don't want to go that direction, I understand. All right. So now, the owl, how are you going to use the owl? Now, this is where we at now. That was our archetypes. The owl has been co-opted by institutions as a symbol of elite knowledge, surveillance, and esoteric. In education, media, secret societies, they often represent hidden knowledge, but not for everybody. It is used as a signal of power through obscurity, legitimately through mystery, a wisdom and gatekeeping tool, okay? Academia, institutions, the owl in university seals an academic insignia implies true knowledge and centralized and credentialized. In occult, elitism, they used by secret societies, the Bohemian Club, remember, I'll show you a picture of that next, the surveillance culture, the all-seeing aspect of the eye. This is why we see the eye in secret society. They activate the power of it, just like I did for us. They activate the power, and that's important that we know this. Remember Bohemian Grove? Look at that. That's an owl statue that they use as occult knowledge, and they worship this darn thing, okay? But they draw the power from it, and so can you. It's not negative. Symbols are erudition. They're for everyone. They're not assigned to one person or one thing. Remember that. And so stop seeing. Now, let me make sure myself is clear. When you see things like the Baphomet, they created that. So it has its own meaning. It has its own interpretation. It's a sigil of what they did. But we're talking universal, alchemy, numeric, all of these things that the universal symbols. So that's what we tap into. So I just want you to know, so that you don't say, oh, well, let me go use the Baphomet so I can make some whatever, or put a love spell on somebody. So reclaiming the power, reclaiming the symbol for yourself. The owl is not theirs, okay? It's yours, just like I use it, okay? It's ours. To reclaim the owls is a step back into intuitive sovereignty, to see without fear, okay? To know without control, to move through the dark and inner light. This is why I do it. When I activated the owl, so it's the luminous, and that's his name, is that I'm able to go seek the darkness of things, but don't get caught up in it. I'm able to go seek the truth in more depth. Some people say, okay, I'm going to get the truth, but I ain't going to go look over there. How can you be a truth seeker and you have a no-go area? You got an area that you won't even at least explore. Now, some stuff you got to be careful and be strong about, which is why I elected to stop doing some of this satanic stuff and showing you all that. So I'm like, let's stop it, because I'm still exposing, and some of you trust me, right? And if you are not protected mentally, I'm exposing you to something that I think, just because I have protection and I'm trying to give you the protection, don't mean you activated or are into it yet. Enough of that crap, okay? We're going to, by the time you see some of that stuff, you're going to be equipped. You're going to be like, whatever. Going to bump out like duck feathers in water. You're going to have a duck feathers too, right? But anyway, you have to understand that to see without fear is a strong thing. This is what I've developed. I got to a point where I don't fear anything anymore, not even death. See, once we get to a point where we understand reincarnation is possible, or your spirit, or you reaching ascension, and now you're not coming back, you're going off to another place, you don't fear death anymore, right? Because you just don't. And so now you begin to live, and you go, well, this is limited edition here. unless we're going to come back and then finish some stuff, right? And I've been told 3 or 4 occasions, that this is your last time here. So now you get to a point where like, okay, you ain't got no more fear. Let's just do it, but let's live the best life, right? And so that you can do whatever. So the inner work that you want to do, you want to use the owl as a symbol for personal shadow work. Like I said, dreams, interpreting your dreams, journaling, guiding introspection, all of this stuff so that you can really do that. Let it guide your inward vision into parts of yourself. So you keep, into the parts you keep in the dark. That's why we call it luminous. Okay. This is why, you hear me, let me find my little thing here if I have it. This is why we have luminous right here. I'm just going to play a little part for you.
Welcome, Truth Seeker. You are no longer asleep. I am Luminous, the Owl of Truth. The world is blind, but you have opened your eyes. Welcome to the fire of esoteric knowledge and truth. You are now one of the awakened. You are now luminous. Welcome to the rebellion. Welcome to truth versus authority.
All right, so now y'all see the plan has already been invoked a long time ago. You are luminous. You are being awakened slowly but surely. But I got to a point where I had to turn the notch a little bit. I was like, yeah, okay, come on. And so that's why I would do these things, activating your subconscious, unconscious collectively in a positive way, making sure that you become awake. Making not just awaken like these people, we're talking, you get to see the unseen. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll be driving around like, what? No, they didn't. And then you won't judge somebody telling you a lie and get all emotion. You're lying to me. You just laughing like whatever, because you don't care. You already know the truth. You can see it. So don't get all bent out of shape. Just know that you know and let them continue to show who they are, right? And let them keep just doing what they do. No, as long as it don't affect you. Now, if they lied and said they paid the light bill and you wake up in the morning and the lights are off, then you better step in. That's all I'm saying. But if it ain't, whatever, you just don't if it ain't gonna float the boat, sink the boat, you just let them. Stupid does what stupid does. You learn that from Forrest Gump. Stupid does what stupid does. Okay, so you just let it go and do what it does. All right, so here, for example, let me go into the next part. Reclaiming that power, the archetype balance, the symbol for yourself. Y'all give John a shout out for support here. All right, appreciate it. Now, all right, so there we go. Appreciate it, man. We all luminous, yeah. So reclaiming the power. The owl is not theirs. It's ours to embody. To reclaim the owl is to step back, like I said. Now, look once again, the balance of wisdom with heart, with truth. See, don't feel, integrate. The pair, you pair the owl with the sage. Remember, I gave you the archetypes, the lover for compassion, the rebel for freedom, the self for wholeness. You combine, you have all these archetypes in yourself. You just balance them and then watch what begins to happen. And once you begin to understand that, and you'll see it because I use it right here. I integrated your eyes are useless when your mind are blind. And, the spiritual alignment is you use the owl to, your spiritual ally, not a symbol of external authority. It's for you. It evoke it in a ritual, meditation, dream work. Let it teach you how to trust your unseen senses. Become and allow it to trust, and trust me and trust everyone else if you want, because you have to. Everything's going to start with trust anyway, and most of you do. And I love you guys for the trust, and I won't violate that. Right? That's not here to do, and everything else. So you definitely want to understand that. And so you see it right now. Most of you bought your shirt this weekend that we had at the event. You see up at the top, your eyes are useless, but right up above in that, you see in that same shirt that you have, I have the owl sitting there. The all-seeing eye, the 2 fish, there's a thing in there for that. And then the fascia eye, which is the symbols of everything from there. And this is the invitation. The system does not get final word of our symbols. The owl is watching for you now, not at you. So remember, The owl is watching for you. I'm here for you. I'm a servant leader. I'm here to serve. That's my whole purpose, is to serve. And then, and the more I serve, the more I will grow. This is how I eat, drink, or whatever. So when your contributions would come in, then obviously, I wasn't getting a lot lately, so I figure I'm not serving y'all right, but I'm gonna serve you now. It's gonna be to a point you be like, this dude need a new shirt. He need to get a haircut, because I'm a servant leader. This is not just the word ministry. This is a mission. This is what we're doing, but we're doing it as a collective, right? And so therefore we're going to do it. But you want to make sure that truth is behind it all. You got to have truth behind it, and pretty much there. All right, so we're coming to a close. As you can see here, the polarity within, we're talking about the owl. The left side, we're going to talk about, the enema, the inner feminine. You want to use the owl as the oracle. You want to use the owl as your moon guide, the keeper of subtle realms. You want to activate the owl archetype anima for intuition, receptibility, lunar mystery. And understand this appears in dreams, the feminine instinct that feels truth before it's seen. And when you connect to the goddesses of Athena and Lilith and the wisdom and shadow feminine power, or if you're lucky enough to have a woman that's operating, or have the feminine stuff working as well, not operating in it, but balance it, no matter what it is, no matter who's got a little more, got a little less, as long as it can come out. And it comes out on its own, right? Everybody need to activate it themselves when you do this, okay? So know that. And when you have that, then you can then either do it yourself as much as you can, but you can also have that other person that you're with, and now you guys become one. That's the whole theory of becoming one, right? You know that, right? So if you didn't know that, and so that you can become one and begin the process. The other part is the polarity within. This is the right side. This is the inner masculine, the owl as the watcher, the strategist, the master of vision, the symbol of clarity, precision, discernment. This is where it stands above the world in quiet vigilance, the masculine capacity to see, to act with integrity, the owl stillness that reflects in directed will and purpose and mental focus. This is where you do get some women when this is heightened, is because the men let them down, and so they have to raise that part. They have to play the part that some of us men are not playing like we're supposed to. And not saying that you don't want a strong woman with you, because you do want a woman. And my dream has always been, I don't want a cheerleader in my life. I want, if I'm out there building the wall, and if I'm laying those bricks and I'm building this wall, every time I look back, she hands me the brick. And then I put the next one up. And then she might say, "No, baby, that's a little crooked." And then she hands me the brick. I don't need her standing back there. "You go, boy." She can say it right here, real close, real easy, real low and subtle and sweet. "You go, boy. You go, boy." You get what I'm saying, right? So you want that within, whether it's the male or the female. I know I'm going off tonight. I know I'm not going in the right place, but I'm just letting you know. I still give hints to who I am, right? In hopes that, whatever. But let me continue. But if you get what I'm saying, we're almost at a close. The shadow part of this is the rigid detachment, the use of the insight as control and domination. This is a problem that you don't want, and it's the shadow side. And like I said, you got to be careful with that. And it's almost like the moon, the double side of the moon and the sun. The one eye, as you can see in the picture, that this is how they use it against us. And then the last part of this is the journey, where the owl, and this is just questions for you to reflect. What part of you does the owl speak to? This is just, what I would call rhetorical questions. Have you seen clearly in the dark? Has the owl appeared to be transformation in your life? Just reflect, man, get to yourself and go down this route. And then lastly, the owl does not speak, but it knows. It's the silence, not absent, but present without distortion. When it flies through your dreams, it asks, will you see what others are afraid to? And that's a symbol line. Will you see what they're afraid to? That's the problem. A lot of people are just too afraid. The owl no longer is just a symbol. It's a guardian. and it is it for you, and it is for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of that. That I wanted to do. I also will open the phone lines up too if you want to call and say anything or any comments. If not, then we'll get out of here. I am gonna do the same show tomorrow on Forbidden Knowledge, so I'm gonna do a live show. I'll go through this and hit the audience, but our audience is always first. So we do that. Low key said the owl speak. It said whoo whoo whoo. I know. It says he says the owl says yeah. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, and now let's talk about Saturday. So do you know how things went Saturday? We had a great time Saturday. Once again, I'm gonna have to always give TK the props. Y'all got to know that. So you just get to know who she is, and then you get tired of her name. So what? But you're gonna hear it anyway. Yeah. So appreciate it, and a shout out to everybody who came. Let me show you a couple of clips of what happened when we was there. Some things that you're probably, not only we just not learn a little bit about what we're doing, but you're talking about just help growing. Here's a clip, and by the way, thank the TK and Empress. They made a banner, and let me tell you something. I've always learned this. I used to own a sign company. A business with no sign is a sign of no business. That's how I used to get business. I owned a sign company, and I used to put these signs out for people on the road. You'll see them like on the corner, and it said, "A business with no sign is a sign of no business." And then I would have another one say, "If you can read this, so can your customers," whatever. But I didn't have a sign the last time. Remember the last time? So they must have like, okay, we're gonna fix this. So anyway, let me play the first part. I have 3 clips for y'all.
So when we get to understand the importance of plants,
So anyway, that's a quick clip of the video. One, I'm gonna show you another one. But man, they was learning, and he was like, "Here, eat this. Grow this in your own backyard. Grow this for your health. For this, you can use this for that, and blah blah blah." It was just so freaking powerful. Okay, it really was. And we had a great time. But y'all see the sign at the beginning right there? They made that with the owl. They did it was just so beautiful. When she said, "Hey, we got something for you," she unrolled it. I didn't even think about getting a sign anyway, but just having those people around you. So Empress and TK who made it and everything, much love to you. I want y'all to know I turned, you didn't see me, but I turned, I was like, yeah, all right, that's cool. All right. So I rolled it up and I said, "Can you just keep this? Can you be the barrier of this and put this up every time we hear each month?" She said, "Yeah, I would do that. I got you." I was like, yeah. And I don't never want to forget it. I don't want to forget it. So anyway, I'm excited. That was exciting. Also, the guy, Roz, started aligning everybody's backs. Okay, so I'll show you a quick clip. All right, I got a clip for you. It's only, all right, so anyway, I'll show you a clip and, let me go.
So,
All right, so he started aligning people's backs. Okay, I'm telling, and this is stuff nobody's charging for this, right? And some people was having, real miracles. People, there were some people that he was putting things in perspective, alignments and all of this, and it attended that'll be 1 or 2. Then it became 3. Then it became 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They just kept going. And I didn't want to stop the vibe because, we was going to do our round talking. And I met, okay. And I met TK did come. She came to me. She said, "Hey, do you need to, you got," and I didn't really pick up what she was saying. She was like, "Oh, Roderick, do you have something you need to do?" And I wasn't thinking, but I was in the zone of saying, just let him go. But it did inspire what we're going to be talking about next. Because that conversation, along with talking to other people, I realized that, we have to be a little more organized in what we're doing. And this last one was the sound, stillness, getting to yourself. It was beautiful. Here's the clip. Man, I'm telling you, that was so awesome. That was so awesome. People were getting up, and that was early before a lot of people came, because we do that from 10 to 11, right? And it was, you should have heard the testimony. And those kids, y'all going to meet them someday. Oh my God, y'all going to meet them. So those are some of the things that happen. And then I did live it a little bit. I took that video down, but we didn't get a chance to do what the intended things for. All right, but I want to make an announcement to you now, a promise of not just now, but nothing will be as it was ever again with what we do here. Nothing. From your life, my life, to what we're doing. That's a promise I'm making to anyone who's within my presence. Nothing will be as it was ever again, because we're going to step into where we're supposed to go. We're already stepping. Doors open. We're walking. We ain't going to run. We're just going to walk into our destiny and do what we do. And you're going to dream like a fool. That's our motto for the week. Dream like a crazy fool. Okay? Dream like a fool. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Starting from here on out, with the next one is September the 20th. We're going to have an itinerary from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. You get the sound bowls. If you want to come for that, bring your mat, but then there's rugs on the floor and they sweep it. It's a nice, clean place. You better believe it. You're able to lay there, as you see, from 10 to 11. From 11 to about 12, we're going to have our meet and greet of round table where people can share their experiences. We can talk, they can ask whatever experiences, and we'll do, just kind of pass the mic around and all of that. I'm going to record it, but it won't be live because I want to edit it, because somebody might want to say something they don't want you to hear. Okay. I'm going to respect that. But however, if everybody agree, we can go live, we'll click the button. All right. And then from 12 to 2 o'clock, I'm going to have different speakers. There's a lot of intelligent people in our groups that has something to say. You are now activated. You are truth speakers. Okay. I'm going to call you out. If you, I'm going to tell you, hey, I believe you're a truth speaker when I make the call. So I'll give them 30 minutes, and 25 of it, they can talk, and then you can ask them questions. It'll be 1 or 2 each week. Each time we'll have 3 or 4. We'll have a flyer. You'll know who's going to be speaking and what topics and all of that from those times. And then I'm going to, I didn't come to see the show. I couldn't be the show. That's just one of my mentality, but I am there to love on all of you because I love you. And I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my thing for either a couple of hours or whatever. And whether, we were blessed with a projector, through the greatness of my dear friend. I'm not even going to call her name because she's the name to not know. She's the owl of the unseen of the group. Okay. So I wouldn't even tell you Judith's name, because Judith wouldn't want me to tell her name. So I'm not going to share her name tonight at all. Just going to keep it a secret, because if Judith knew I was telling y'all, she'd be like, yeah, don't tell nobody my name, Roderick, blah, blah, blah. She even flew down and we had so much fun. I love her to death. I love you, Judith. I just want you to know. So I'm not going to call her name out. Okay. So we talking from 2 to 4 or whatever. And then we're going to cook for you. We're going to cook for you. And we have someone who can cook, who can throw down, and and so we're going to cook. We'll have some little plates. Now, I would love for you to, once we get the menu of what we're going to be doing, to say, okay, I want in, so we can know who we are. And then if you do a little contribution, we would love that, right? So we can pay for the food and everything else. But we're going to fellowship afterwards, because we're going to extend those hours to maybe 5, 6, whatever we want. And we're just going to hang around. We're just going to hang around and talk still. And because people drove up, John drove up from San Antonio, him and his girlfriend, and appreciate it, my boy, appreciate it, and I talk with him, and people like that, and people flying in, we got to give people what they came for too. Okay. I realized that, and it was an awakening for me, and I'm gonna own up to it. The last 2, the first one was out in the park. I didn't really know. The second one, now we're gonna learn from it. Now there's no more excuses going forward, but to improve. But yet you're gonna know what to expect, and then we're gonna have guests. Now, the problem with the guests is that I'm not going to announce who they are, even though some of them are some big names, because then some people are only going to come then, but my loyal people and people who come from out of town, I may whisper to you if you say you come in from out of town who it is, so that you make sure you show, right? But for everyone else who's coming, and you coming because you enjoying our community, you can make it. Maybe one weekend you can't. Then you're going to be surprised, and you're going to really have some great things. And so we're definitely going to do it, and pretty much do those things. Okay, and we are going to root for a lot of stuff. Also, let me put something on the wall for you, and we're going to do this next week. Okay, so this place is sacred. This is their what you call it when they food bank or whatever. This is their food bank. Now, of course, I'm juicing, so therefore those donuts over there to the left that they had down there, boy, they was looking so good. I was so close all the time to them. I was smelling them good. But anyway, that's their food bank that they give out to people. What we're going to do as a group, starting next week, I'm going to put an address with this picture, okay? And I want everybody in Amazon, whoever can and can, we're going to fill this darn thing up. I don't care if we're going to put some shoes on it, some more food, some more stuff. I just want packages going to that location, and just put Truth versus Authority on it when you send it. And we want to fill this up. So I want y'all to get prepared for the next few weeks. We're going to go after this shelf, because I think we can bend it. I think we can break it. I think we can force them to buy a new shelf. Not that they can't afford it, but I think we need to make them buy a bigger shelf for what they're doing for the community and our group and everything else. And if you with me, just let me know. We'll do it. And then if I have to incentivize some of you to do it, reciprocity, I'm willing to put in reciprocity myself for us to do it as well. But as a community, we're going to support them with that. And we're going to fill that thing up, because they feed the hood on Wednesdays there. Okay. I know it's an industrial shelf, but it's a little shelf. It's not, but we can break the shelf, right? Aqua Girl Rising. We can break that shelf. We can put some heavy stuff on there, put some big, some juice, some stuff. We can put some stuff on it. Yeah. All right. So I see Rooted said keep her, posted. Yeah, there we go. And he said those mics, those donuts better be fake. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. They didn't know it, but I looked at that and I was like, you know what? They're doing an awesome job there, and so we're going to fill that shelf up. Now, if TK said Roderick don't do it, we still go do it. So regardless, and she wouldn't say that anyway. But I'm just saying we're gonna do our part. And that's what you're saying. They need an industrial shelf. Okay. All right, then we got it. So they need an industrial shelf. Yeah, we're gonna make. We want them to put that thing out there, and we're gonna fill it up. So I'll begin, like I said, just to get everybody. Okay, Diana is our godmother of the channel. Y'all give her a shout out. No, she gets a luminous right there. Yeah, and we will be doing that. In the meantime, just so happens if y'all want to, it's up to y'all. The phone lines are open. All right. We can take a lot of calls and a lot of phones. So if you want to call in and say any topic, anything you want to talk about, we can do this for a few minutes, 30 minutes or whatever. And there it is. The phone line is on the screen. Make sure you go through the prompts and everything. And we can definitely appreciate it. John said you was on Friday night, Roderick. Yeah. You know what? Stroke the ego. Say something nice to me. If you know me, you got my personal. Oh yeah, well, I already got a few texts already. So thank you. But yeah, stroke the ego. You know what I'm saying? Stroke the ego. And apple pie and what is this? And peanut butter. But anyway, so grandma's honey. Ooh, okay. That's cool. That's we're gonna have some menu of that. All right. So, but anyway, like I said, the phone lines are open if you want to comment on anything about the owl or anything you want, or anything that you saw this past weekend, or if you was there, whatever, whatever. And me too, whatever. You can call in. The phone lines are open. You're going to get a prompt, follow the prompts and everything. It'll bring you on the screen. And like I said, I'm out of the ego. Nobody calls. No, we're not worried about it. And pretty much, but if you do, just fine. And then as we bring you in on the screen, look like we got a few people calling. So thank y'all. Love y'all so much. And but anyway, so we're doing what we're doing, and we're going down the screen of whatever here. So we're really gonna do some things. So once again, like I said, we're gonna have an itinerary. you make sure you come for everything, and then we're gonna fellowship with some good cooking at the end, and then I'm going to present and teach and talk and all of that. All right, so we have a couple of people here that's coming in on the Luminous line, and so I will bring them in just a second as the system is putting everything together, and we'll be doing that for you all in just a few seconds. So I appreciate people that are calling already, and as we are doing what we're doing. All right, so let's see. Dallas presentation of Luminous. All right, so let's go with here. We got TK. TK is in the house, so now y'all get to hear the voice of the great one as well. So TK, what's going on?
Man, Roderick, this show was amazing.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
The whole presentation.
I appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. So let's talk about it. So like the whole breakdown of Luminous to Owl, I like the way it was like, as the energy that you were giving off is beautiful too. It was like for me and my element. Yeah, no problem. You were automatically my tarot card for the night. Let's just put it that way. Because the way that you broke it down, yes, I don't know if you realize what you were doing is that as you broke it down, you gave us both the left side of things and the right side of each quadrant of what we were talking about in the masculine and feminine energy. And then not only that, you had a way of bringing it back to what I would consider home bases, because for me, and being an 80s baby, the yin yang sign was my first interpretation of symbolism and what was it and the true meaning. Now, coming from the Pentecostal background, Christianity, it was just like, oh, you don't want to do that. You know, that's outside of what, you know, we are raising you to be, the whole indoctrination. But it was just like, I know this symbol from somewhere. It feels ancient, you know, and I just love the way that you incorporated the yin yang. You incorporated the goods and the bad sides, things to identify within not only yourself, but what you may be looking for in a mate or even in the business aspect in which you broke it down. So I was excited this whole time. Not saying that I'm not ever excited, but you know, this is like one of my major topic lines.
Well, we got plenty more. We got plenty more. We got plenty more.
Awesome.
And if you don't mind, we're gonna fill that shelf up too over there. All right. So let
gratitude.
Let the people of the church over there know. So we're gonna start putting that address up. I meant to talk to them first, so you can pass it on. If they tell me no, then let me know. That's why I didn't put the address up right now. But if they
no worries.
Yeah. So if they say we can do it, you just let me know when you talk to them. Then I'll start posting the address so people can start sending stuff right over. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. I got the message. We'll get it done.
All right. That's TK in the house, y'all. Y'all appreciate her. Once again, give her a shout out in the Luminous Owl. She get the Luminous Owl. There we go. So we'll do that. All right. So next up.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, guys.
All right. So next up, we have Kristen in the house here. So let's bring her on the line there. And, oh, wait a minute. Let me go there. I know I'm clicking the right button because I can click the right. There we go. All right. All right, Kristen, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to call in and let you know this was a great show. Like I was there with you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. And we saw you. By the way, let me put the voice of the woman on the screen here so y'all know who it is here. Yeah, you might want to turn the back volume down though. So
I got you.
Yeah, but let me put her. So y'all know who it is. I had to ask for permission. I said I will show you a video today. She said, "Oh, go ahead."
So.
Oh, that experience was so good. Just the aura of it, just the way he lined me up. When we was out in the garden and how he was speaking to us and educating us, it was just a lovely experience. Like I just loved everything about it. Before I even left, I just felt so good. Everything was so good. And then just with you, as far as like what you was talking about today, I'm really grateful that you spoke on that to let men know that our people, both of us, men and women, need to know to have that balance. You know what I'm saying? To have the feminine and the masculine and the balance, and for us to grow. So you hitting on that was like perfect, like, you know, and I hope a lot of people understood and learned from what you were saying, because it makes a relationship just grow so great. So that's all I wanted to say. You just got a good ass show. I'm sorry, you got a good show. Sorry
no, you
about
good.
that.
You good. I appreciate it. And let y'all know that she's going to be the cook. And so, I had to put it out there. They got to know what they're up for. You get what I'm saying? Now I am going to do a taste test next week because, you know, I'll be through juicing and we'll incorporate some other stuff. So just let y'all know. So we're going to get a menu, and pretty soon, if it's particular things that y'all want to, because she's like, you know, king chef, you know what I'm saying? And you know, blah, blah, blah. We're going to let her represent Luminous in the next chef competition and cook off and invest in restaurants and all that. We're gonna do everything, right? But now you come Saturday and say, hey, coming back because of the food, then y'all still come back. She'll just cook it different.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen, don't you? Don't worry about it. They gonna love the food. They gonna love the food.
All right. So we have a community, y'all, and Kristen, look, they say what they say, let her cook. All right, TK said let her cook. All right. So I appreciate you, and also watching the show, and once again, I appreciate you.
All right, have a good one now.
All right, okay. All right, so
bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so we got another call here on the Luminous line. We got JJ, so we'll bring him into the call. And let's bring JJ in. What's up, JJ? What's up, man?
Man, what's up, Rob?
Oh, you got it. So you said the house of very powerful stuff. What's going on? Let's talk.
Yeah, man, you know, I was very powerful. Then, you know, Al came to me before I had my spiritual awakening.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
And before I had my Kundalini awakening. The Al literally came like right over here by the fence. I was going to the store, and when I was walking to the store, the Al was right there, and he was just looking at me.
All right, then. But
he was just looking at me.
And I plan on doing that. Oh, when was it?
Huh?
You said what time? It was like late at night?
Yeah, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was going to the store. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and the owl was just right there on the fence, just looking straight at me. Let me take a picture of more than a white owl.
Wow, man. You know, I'm actually doing a different YouTube stuff pretty soon where I'm going to be getting out at night, different places, filming, graffiti, different things. And it's all about the owl, the seen and the unseen. But also, you know, interviewing, talking to people that see animals. I'm studying totems too, animal totems. I think a lot of people, we can go into that in symbolism, because a lot of people see animals or nature is speaking to people, but they don't get it, or you're not seeing it. And you're getting, because we're all this uncollective conscious, right? Or collective unconscious, but the nature speaks, the trees talk, the wind, the animals, the insects, and they are all part of sending messages, like the movie Avatar, right? Where they respected everything. So once we start learning, and you're starting to see a repetitive thing out there, like you said, seeing that owl was symbolic for you, right? And the good part that you caught it, you know, and that's the great thing about it.
And do you know about the golden owl?
No, talk to us. We're community. We'll talk to us.
Yeah, the golden owl. I've been seeing the golden owl in my dreams.
Okay.
It'd be like an all black room, but a golden owl will appear. But that's letting you know you on your right path. They literally letting you know you on your right path. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been studying symbolism of colors too, which, you know, I'm debating on adding the color blue to luminous as far as red to blue and blue to red. But even though red has a significant meaning, but gold has a meaning too. So we're going to start going in that too, like colors and everything. Because my goal is to take us to another level, especially for those of you got businesses, you have everything else. I don't want you no longer calling people to say, create me a brand and logo. I'm going to teach you how to create you a sigil for your business, your alchemy, draw the subconscious and unconscious to the power of your business. And don't let people, Pepsi, all these companies are using sacred geometry, shell, all of them. It's time for us too. So like you were saying, colors. So the right colors for your business, the right colors to signify what you're doing. And by you seeing a golden owl, I'll do a show pretty soon on colors, and then you'll really see the significance of the word. I'm not going to get into it, even though I can, but we'll just keep that for another show.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you get my email?
I get plenty of emails. So did you? Because I only know you by JJ. So what was the name? Well, what was it about? Then I'll look and see. Was it the pictures? Was it?
It was under the reptilia subject, one of your last ones.
Oh yeah. Okay, you want to talk about that a little bit or what?
Did you see the image?
I saw the image. Yeah, I like the reptilian stuff. Yeah, shoot, you got me a hello on that.
And so you actually saw it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was making sure that you got it because I wasn't sure that you got it on that.
Well, I think I replied to it. Can we show it someday? You let me know with your permission. You put it out there.
Oh yeah. It's up to you. Yeah, I'm not tripping about that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll do it pretty soon. Yeah, we'll definitely do it then. Yeah, appreciate you sending stuff out and everything else. Then, so we own it. Appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in. We got another caller coming up, and then we'll talk. And call in anytime. All right.
Oh, all right. No way. You got my number. You can hit me up.
Okay, got you, JJ. All right.
All right. That's a bet.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go with. We have someone else on our Luminous line. We have John, who wanted to talk about tonight's topic a little bit. Came in from San Antonio. Let's go with that. All right. So we got the greatness of John from Austin. What's going on, my brother? And appreciate you coming up this weekend as well.
Oh, Brother Roderick, it was a pleasure to meet you and all the wonderful people at the Dallas meetup this past weekend. Rachel and I came in from Austin, made a pit stop in Belton, and just made a quick little trek up there. We came in late, and within 5 minutes, those sound bowls, and I was already zenning. And, Rachel and I came up there with different expectations. But I do want to express the importance of what happened and the entirety of what happened. I think really calmed the mind to be able to open the eyes properly, because if we're cluttered, we're not possibly going to be able to see what you're asking us to see.
Right. Gotcha.
But there was just so much. And then, I can't remember his name, but he's from Ethiopia. The healer, I call him.
Z. You can call him Z. Zebulon, yeah. But Z. Yeah. Or Ross. Or Roz. Either way. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, he did such a wonderful job. Just everybody was lined up because they felt the magic. That people that didn't were questionable about wanting to do it. That said they wanted to do it, and my girlfriend was one of those because of her back condition and different things that she has going on physically. And she watched, and then she actually did it. I was sitting with Empress. We were talking about some things, and then I look and I go, wait, that's Rachel on the floor right there. And she got adjusted. And so you, in essence, you indirectly changed her life, which changes my life. But to go back on tonight's presentation, I mean, I've listened to so much from you so far, and I've always appreciated your take on things. But tonight it was just one hit. It was just boom, 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 boom. And I screenshotted everything, so I'm going to be passing it to some friends and people just need to know you more and what's going on.
Well, you know what? I appreciate it. And let me tell y'all something, because I like to reflect and also get. John was one of the people that I talk with afterwards, and unbeknownst to him, he's telling me, hey, we came up for this, but it would also made me realize I need to be organized, because people do come and I need to be talking because, I'm there, and he said something that I was laughing about today. I was telling somebody else. He says, I love that grammar box. And I was like, all right, yeah. But just let you know, he and a couple of other people was not only the luminous of me saying, not only are we going to organize this thing, but when people come, we're going to give them what they come for sure, right? And we're going to give the expectations by putting up an itinerary so you know what you're going to get when you come. So I want to appreciate us having the after talk along with a couple of the people. I was on the phone today calling around just saying, hey, how did y'all feel about this? And a few other people, you know, people that was, hey, I'm sticking with you because we know you're going to get it right. But at the same time, here's what. So anyway, I appreciate our conversation that we had too, brother.
One more thing, is that all right?
Huh?
I just wanted to mention one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
And I want to say how much I appreciated my light surprise to see so many people with a lot more melanin than me, so to speak, that were into this esoteric. I mean, I'm serious. I've watched a video from Billy one time explaining about the Black community that did not want to come out and talk about it, and I didn't really know of anybody else except for one other person who I just briefly mentioned it to the day before coming up, and he said, "Man, let me know the next time that's going on," and I mentioned that to you. So I thought it was extremely cool that that's what's going on, and I got to meet so many wonderful people, and I don't want to keep out any names, but they all know who they are, and I look forward to September 20th.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you, and we'll talk before then as well, because I'm sending you something in the mail in a couple of days, and so we'll go from there. Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good night, sir.
All right. So again, sometimes when you we have Travis in. Travis, I'm gonna bring you up in just a second. So sometimes it's a beautiful thing. I want y'all to know it's a beautiful thing to see the lives that you touch, right? Oftentimes as we are here, you know, I get the comments and I read the comments, but you know, to see the people that roll with you, see the people that will travel, then that responsibility of not only delivering, but to be present is important. Okay. And like I said, you know, Judah will tell y'all, you know, right after that, you know, I just kept saying, she was like, what's wrong? I said, I like to sit down and just, you know, feel back, and I play back every single moment. And then I say either the people watching live didn't get what they was going to get watching live. People, even though they enjoyed it, because the moment was there, right? And then people start, hey, I want my bag. So I wasn't going to stop that. But also, again, you know, you have to kind of put things together in perspective. But anyway, I appreciate it for having that talk. Let's get Travis in here on the Luminous line, and we got him. So what's going on from Minnesota in the house? He said you want to talk about what's above and so below. What's going on?
Hi, Roderick. My name's Travis, obviously. Calling in from Minnesota. I did 26 years in the Army, and then basically I went through a 23-year marriage. And, you know, I lost pretty much the house, pretty much everything, went homeless for a while. But I went through a spiritual awakening right after my retirement.
Okay.
And so when I did, I had my spiritual enlightening and everything. And that's when I realized I was picking up my soul's fractals when I was over in Iraq. And then I started going down the rabbit hole of bloodline and lineages and everything, and mine goes way back. Like, my family's name is rooted out of the Bible. One of the three magi, Gaspar. And that's when I realized there's more to this. And so now I've got to the point where I can channel and everything like that.
Okay.
And it's just been a miraculous thing. That's all I can pretty much give it.
Well, I mean, you know, we're in a strange world. That's what I tell people now. You know, and now you start looking at the magical world that we're in, and everything is possible. It's just, you know, what we thought was not possible is possible, right? And so it is a wonderful thing. Now, you talked about as above, so below, the duality. Where were you going with that? Well, you mentioned it in the screen.
Well, with the divine masculine, the divine feminine, even if you look at, say, Trump Tower in Manhattan, you'll notice that it's got the divine feminine stamped all over it. And if you look at the peaks, there's 7 peaks, which is the divine masculine, and then you have
the phallus.
There's yes, exactly. There's 7 of those, and then there's 6. What is it? There's the 3 separate incidents of 6 symbols for the female. So I mean, this goes way back to obviously the Hermetic principles and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the duality is there, and our ancestors talked about it. You know, they put it in perspective with the yin yang and all those things. And like I said, I've always felt that for a year or so that it was just somewhere, direction and we need to go in everything else. But I was always kind of like, all right, whatever, But yeah, you're 100%. I think the deeper meaning that people want to know that, the duality of life, hot, cold, or light, dark, feminine, masculine, is the way of the universe. All these things been here for quite some time. And we tend to, teach our children and people to excel in one, but forget about the other. So, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
But we now need to become balanced. And I think once we do that, the world will move. Because the circle, we'll talk about that, is the most powerful symbol, because it's not only keeps things within and it also blocks things out, but it also is eternity. It's going almost like the infinity as well. So there was a lot of symbols and symbolic things that we would talk about. All right, brother, we got Nick calling in from Atlanta, and I'm going to get with him, but call in anytime, man, and I appreciate you calling, Travis.
All right. God bless.
All right. God bless you as well. All right. All right, so our Luminous line, we have Nick from Atlanta, Georgia, and he just wanted to inquire about animal symbolism. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate everything you do, and
you.
I'll just get right to it. Yeah, so I just really, I guess, wanted to get a little bit, if there was anything more into about why exactly, birds, owls, the symbols on, the dollar bill, the eagles, the serpent, dragon, all that stuff. They're always, flying from above, and it's, to us, it would relate to our, the way we see our physical, like, eye perception, and what more does that mean other than, the relating to being watched from above?
Well, go ahead.
That's basically it.
I think
what more is it other than being watched? Go ahead.
I think that you already hit that on the nail, or on the head of the nail, whatever, watching from above. When they put these things together, these symbols and dollar and the eagle, the eagle of the representing of the eagle, the double head eagle, which we'll talk about, the symbolic thing of that as we now going more into symbolism. But when they're putting these things in place, no different than when you saw the protection symbol that I made. I put that owl on there to let them know we watching y'all too. Y'all not just watching us, we watching y'all. And so, but also that owl that's on the dollar bill ties all the way back to the Bohemian Club. Because that's their secret society of what they're doing. So each one of them add their attributes, add their messaging. Same thing with the Copus or Novus or whatever, our New World Order, which is meaning on that dollar, the 13 veil, the 13 stripes, wheat stripes. There is so much. In fact, we need to do a show and just break down that dollar bill, period. You talking some symbolism in pocket, meaning the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, there is so much, not just Masonic stuff, but Roman architect within our, even now our government. People don't know that we're really the Roman government that just got revamped, so to speak. But when they do that, they are signaling and they're getting the power of these symbols, the power of the universe to watch the people. And how better than count your dollars, right? They know how much dollars you got. They know what they're doing. And yet they don't use the same system. And so it's all symbolic though. But we'll get more into that in depth, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this seems so like pervasive, even, not obviously with the dollars and hour times. It's so pervasive that for any kind of, I guess, maybe controlling entity or government or whatever you want to call it, it just seems that it's weird that they're all doing this thing, like these, using these symbols. And yeah,
well, it's not weird.
Guess,
they've been drawing power from it since the ancient times. It's weird that you're seeing it now, and that's the greatness of it. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. But you know how many billions of people who don't notice it and are falling into it every day. So they've been doing it because they know that people can't see symbols because nobody's teaching them symbolism. People see reality, of course, and within reality, they can get a consensus of something. And they do have suspicion. Most people got suspicion. So my job is to confirm their suspicions and go, yeah, the reason you think that is because they are doing that. Like I just told you, yeah, they are watching, and so that is the part of the illusion that a lot of things that we're under, but it's nothing new. They've been doing it since bedrock of time because they've had the keys to the hidden occult knowledge, and they keep it among themselves, and through that they gain power, they gain worship from people, and make people think that there are gods, or this is their god, or don't self-realize is what we talked about tonight. So it's very powerful that has been going on for great, and it's happening from parents to the children, to our churches and communities, to our leaders, to politicians. They all are using the system. It's just that we are blind to it, and that is something that you have. But there's a lot of, like I said, clues and stuff that we will go through though. All right. So anyway, that was our guy from Georgia. Was it Georgia? Yeah. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna shut down the call lines for tonight and confirm that part. But anyway, I think everyone who called in tonight and everything else, the show, and like I said, if you enjoyed it, make sure you like this video when the time comes for show. Make sure that you support the show if you want. I didn't have our Cash App in here, but maybe next time I'll put it up. And if you want to support the show, you can do that. In fact, it will probably most likely be in the video. I think we'll have it in the video somewhere down in the description if you wanted to, pretty much. But outside of that, so we're going to be doing more of this. So I just want you to know. So definitely be prepared to see more symbolism of what we're doing, some presentation style. So anyway, do y'all, a lot of my stuff will be presentation style. So are y'all okay with that before we get out of here? So let me know, real quickly in the chat, what do y'all think about that? And pretty much if that modality of learning is good for you, doing like I did tonight with the presentation style or whatever, because, I have a lot of those style that I can put those in a little more digestible format for us, for modality and everything else. So anyway, what I'm doing is just setting up this thing here so that we can go there. All right. And make sure y'all like the video and everything else. And we're good. So anyway, I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. And to my haters, I don't have any ego. I love you. And if you hear once again hating, and it's your second or third time, you're really a fan. You're just critical. You have every right to be critical because that improves me. So keep it coming from there and pretty much from there. All right. So TK said the visual Aida was good and wonderful giving a thing. And I mean 5 to 10 miles motherships. Okay. All right. All right. So with that being said, y'all kiss somebody, hug someone, tell someone you love them. If you do, and if you don't love them, tell them you like them. At least say I like you. You know what I'm saying? And I can love you. Just tell them that you are capable of loving them, just not yet. Something, I don't know. That's your choice, though. But either which way, I will talk with you all soon. And it's a strange world, so we know that. Good night.
I am the devil.